The New York Knicks picked up another victory on Saturday morning against the Philadelphia 76ers. They're now 2-0 in the preseason. The unfortunate thing about these games is that Joel Embiid and Paul George are not playing, also Jerry McCain. So I would have liked to see the Knicks match up with a little bit more of a competitive team. But there's still a lot to take away from these games because, for one, we know what the starting lineup's going to be. I know Josh Hart didn't play with an injury, but even if Hart had played, this lineup certainly would have been the same, and that's Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges. It's also interesting to see the Knicks playing a lot faster, pushing it in transition, even off of makes. They're throwing the ball down the court. Very similar to what the Pacers did against us, and everything that Mike Brown has preached has come into fruition here. It's been a lot of fun to see. Mikal Bridges was perfect from the field tonight. The scoreboard is currently down, so I don't have the stats on me, but Mikal ends up finishing the game with 10 points. He ends up going 4 for 4 in 17 minutes. He had a very, very promising game. This is something to keep an eye on for the Knicks as Mikal's second season. I thought Tibbs honestly kind of held him back, played him too much, and because the Knicks didn't run an offense, they didn't play fast, they didn't go to their bench. There was a lot of issues with this team. They were not good defensively, but with Mitchell Robinson, they're going to be certainly a lot better. Speaking of Mitch, he also plays in the first half, of course, 13 minutes, 8 rebounds and 6 points. I have the stats from the first half. Obviously, the starters didn't play in the second half, so I have that. But Mitch was very aggressive on the boards, and you talk about the deflections. He had 3 deflections last game, and that's something that Mike Brown has been alluding to. Is that defense usually tells a story about just deflecting the ball, being active, and that's what Mitch has done. He's been awesome next to Cat, and I personally think Cat's better at the four, not only offensively but defensively. Cat matching up against those fours. We saw him, of course, go up against Kevin Durant. We saw him go up against even Jokic when he was with the Timberwolves, and Jokic is a center, but you guys get my point. Is that Cat pretty much he can handle his matchup. It's just if you just have Cat under the rim the entire game, that's not really where he's most suited. So that Mitch certainly is, and Mitch also can switch on the guards and forwards and can defend the perimeter. We saw him, of course, get out on Tyrese Halliburton at times, often in the playoffs. So this is the most balanced Knicks team, and OG Anunoby ends up getting the start, which he was out last game. At 13 points. I believe he was 4 of 7 from the field, 2 boards and an assist in those 17 minutes. I thought OG was awesome. He was aggressive, and when OG first got to the Knicks, he didn't look for a shot. And all of a sudden, he started to realize that, hey, look, I'm pretty good. And he started to just drive to the basket, get to the free throw line, take the 3-pointers. We even saw him hit a pull-up jumper tonight over the outstretched arms of a big man. You have to do that if you're OG. Beat your man off the dribble, and then help's coming, and either throw a lob up to Mitch or to lay it up and in, and Mitch will clean it up if you miss. And Mitch did catch some alley oops. I haven't really seen this version of Mitch where he gets out on the break and then goes up and catches a lob. Jordan Clarkson threw one to him. The reason for that is, Mitch hasn't been healthy often, but he's in super good shape. The entire Knicks team is in super good shape, and that's one of the top things that I wanted to emphasize in this video is the Knicks look like they're in midseason form. I mean, this is a team that played a ton of minutes last season. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Clearly they've been taking care of their bodies, and it's not just their starting lineup. I've liked what I've seen out of everyone, even the third string. They're running up and down the floor, being very aggressive, and it's been a beautiful thing to see. Malcolm Brogdon has been very, very impressive to me. He had that and one, of course, in the third quarter, also had 4 rebounds. It's good to see a guard who can do a little bit of everything. He reminds me, he's honestly kind of, I don't know if this is a good comparison, but he's kind of just an older, less athletic Emmanuel Quickly, where he has that high IQ, can stretch the floor, but also attacks the board and just looks for his. And once you get him into a pick and roll, I mean, Brogdon has the IQ to just, he's going to make you pay. And he can split the defense. He's got that little hesitation, like stutter move to where he slows down and gets you on his hip and takes the contact and gets the N1. And IQ and Brogdon were going back and forth in the sixth man of the year race a couple of seasons ago. And it's good to see the Knicks have a player like that back because, and no disrespect to RJ Barrett, but when the Knicks did trade for OG, I didn't really miss RJ Barrett. It was more so Emmanuel Quickly, because what he did for the Knicks off the bench and a starting lineup at times was just, it was prolific. I mean, this guy is an absolute bucket getter, and he makes everyone else around him better. And it seems like when the game's on the line, Brogdon's at his best. So I'm definitely happy with him. Miles McBride, well, this is the thing, is I don't have the stats, so I don't know because Deuce played in the second half yesterday, of course, and know, he's going to get run with this unit because that's the unit he's on. Like Deuce is coming off the bench, so he has to get sort of chemistry with these guys. Overall, in terms of the second unit, I think they've shown good chemistry with each other because guys know what their roles are. Brogdon's going to be on the ball. Deuce is also going to be on the ball. Jordan Clarkson is going to be when sort of the pace kind of slows down and the Knicks need a bucket. Maybe they're stumbling a little bit. Clarkson will go get it and get to the basket. He's also got a lot in his arsenal. But Brogdon running that pick and roll with Ariel Hukporti is going to be something to keep an eye on. Josh Hart did not play in this game, so things would have looked a lot different if he had. But I just like the old tradition pick and roll and then Clarkson go and get it at times and get a bucket because there's going to be very many games this season where the bench kind of can't really get anything going and then Clarkson's going to have to go out and get 10 to 15 points. Like it's going to happen. You can't rely on the bench every single game for the Knicks. I mean, that would be huge if you could. But the Knicks starting five is going to do the majority of the damage. And it's just what do you get out of the bench? Is it Landry Shamet? Does he have a hot night? Is it Brogdon? Is it Clarkson? Hukporti? I mean, we saw in game one he had 6 rebounds in 6 minutes against the Sixers in the preseason. So I think it's going to be a lot of guys just sort of taking their turn. But Brogdon is really the most important player on the bench, honestly, like outside of Deuce. I'd say like Hart, but even like I'll even make an argument that Brogdon's more important than those guys because he's the floor general. Brogdon, we've seen him when he's healthy. He's still one of the better players in the league. He's a 40% three-point shooter. He's a very good passer, gets rebounds. He's efficient, makes everyone else around him better. And that's something to keep an eye on as well. And like the Knicks haven't had a guy like that they could go to outside of Brunson since I sound like a broken record at this point. But Emmanuel quickly, as if Brunson was out, they go to IQ, and IQ would always deliver. I mean, Deuce has also been similar to where he steps into the starting five without Brunson and seems to be at his best. I think Brogdon's the same way, and he is going to make the roster. The question for the Knicks is, do they put Shamet on the roster? And they'd have to move either Kulik, Deuce, or Dottie. They're not moving Deuce. It'll probably be Dottie. I have heard that they've been shopping his name around. I don't think they really want to trade Dadier. It's just they're going to actually get something for him versus Kulik. So, I mean, what would you really get for Tyler Kulik? He's a 6'2", 24-year-old second-year guard who that's kind of thing. Dadier is 20, has more size and athleticism and things like that. I mean, Dadier, he's got so much potential. I mean, Dadier legit could be a starting wing absolutely for the Knicks in a couple of years, but just they're trying to win a championship right now. He doesn't really give them much. You could also say that, hey, look, well, Dadier should be a part of the rotation, and you're probably right. Like, Hukporti and Dadier should be playing every single night. The Knicks just have such a good team to where they're not going to. With the way that Hukporti's played, he's making a case to seriously do that, but what do you do with the bench? Because if Mitch starts, you've got Clarkson, you've got Brogdon, you've got Deuce, you got Shamet, Hart, Yabusele. Like, there's just no room. Brown said that he wants to play 9 to 10 guys. So you let me know down below what the Knicks are going to do with that. They'd have to expand the rotations or make a trade. And I don't really see them making a trade unless it's to sort of bring in Shamet. And Shamet has played well in the preseason. We know who Landry Shamet is. He's a guy that stays ready, that gets it done on both ends, is efficient. I really liked what I saw out of Shamet last season. Remember, he got hurt in the preseason and he came back and ended up being a big part of the Knicks Pacers series, I mean, from game 3 forward. But really outside of that, there's not too much I want to say. I am going to go back and rewatch the game, and I'm going to go back and look at the film. This was one of those games. It started at 11. It was kind of a weird time, like on a Saturday morning. And I honestly kind of checked out after the first half just because, I mean, what do you really take away from it? I mean, the first half is the biggest thing because you have the starters out there, and I want to see how they look versus with Tibbs, and we'll kind of break that down. But thank you guys so much for watching, man. It means the world to me. It's your boy, Nick Staley. I'm signing out. Peace.